Hey guys. Okay, let's not forget our test is on Monday, the 21st. Don't forget your cheat sheet. You get 1 page of handwritten whatever the heck you want to put on it. So you can put all the problems from this review, or you can put some music lyrics. I don't really care. Okay, so for number 1, I told you all you have to do is the degrees and the radians. So I'm going to start off with my right angles because I like to start off there. Okay, so if I start with my right angles, we start at 0 degrees. Yeah, and that's also 360 degrees. You don't have to put both on the test. Since there's only one blank, you can put either 360 or 0. I don't care. Okay, and then 90 degrees is right here, 180, and then 270. And then that 0 degrees is 360 again. Okay, now I'm going to label the multiples of 30. Yeah, 30 degrees. So I got 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, 120, 150, 180, 210, 240, 270, 300, 330. And when I fill out the multiples of 30, I skip that middle angle. Can you see in between 30 and 60, I skip that middle angle? In between 120 and 150, I skip that middle angle. In between 210 and 240, I skip that middle angle. Yeah, okay. The next step I'm going to do is I'm going to do the multiples of 45 degrees. So that's 45 degrees, bam. 45, 90, plus another 45 is 135. Plus 45 is 180, plus 45 is 225. Plus 45 is 270, plus 45 is 315. Okay, so that's how we got our degrees. And you don't have to do it that way. You can do it a different way. If you memorize them, go for it. If you can fill them in up and around all at once, go for it. Okay, now we need the radians. For radians, I'm going to remember that I take this 30 degrees and I multiply by pi over 180. Or in the calculator, I say 30 divided by 180. Math, enter. And then I slap a pi on top. Okay, so let's do this. Get our calculator out. And we're going to say 30 divided by 180. Math, enter. 1/6. And slap a pi on top. We're not going to keep the 1 up there, so we're just going to say pi over 6. Then we keep going. 45 divided by 180, math, enter. Pi over 4, because we're not going to write that 1 on top. Then keep going. 60 divided by 180, math, enter. Pi over 3. And you don't have to do the math, enter on the same line. For example, 90 divided by 180, let's say I put that in first and got 0.5. Then I can press math, enter, and I still get the numbers I was supposed to get, 1 over 2, or pi over 2. Okay, let's see for 120. Again, 120 divided by 180, math, enter, 2/3, so 2 pi over 3. 135 divided by 180, math, enter, 3 pi over 4. Then we keep going. There's a 5 pi over 6. Then for 180, that just makes 1 pi, but we're going to grow up and we're just going to write pi. Then 210 divided by 180, math enter, 7 over 6, so 7 pi over 6. And then we keep going. And I think we have 4 pi over 3. Then we have 3 pi over 2. 5 pi over 3. 7 pi over 4. Oh, my bad. 11 pi over 6. Okay, and that's what your number 1 is going to be. So we don't have to fill out any of these side blanks. We did not get there yet. That will be on the next test. Okay, and if you want an extra blank, there's one on the back. Or you can Google blank unit circle if you want to be able to print off your own. Okay. Number 2, it says find the 6 trigonometric functions of theta. Okay, so when it says 6 trig functions, that means sine, cosine, tangent, then CSC, SEC, and cotangent. Yeah. Okay. And when it says of theta, that means you put theta after the 3-letter words. Okay, now we have to label our triangle according to that theta. Well, the theta is at the top, so that side across from it is the opposite. That side across from the 90-degree box is the hypotenuse. The adjacent is what's left over. So let's go over that. Every time you're given a triangle, the first thing to do is label the hypotenuse. It's the crooked piece. The second thing is to find the opposite. And the last thing to label is always the adjacent. It's the last to label. Okay, let's do sine. Sine is... Oh, okay. Let's remember SOHCAHTOA. And you definitely want to write that on your note card. I mean, on your sheet of cheats. Okay, so sine is opposite over hypotenuse. So my opposite is 5a. My hypotenuse is square root of 41. A. And this should seem familiar. We did an example like this in our notes, only with the special triangles. 30, 60, 90, and the sides x, x squared of 3, something like that. I don't know. Okay, so the a's cancel. But then in math, we cannot have that house on the bottom. So multiply by square root of 41. And you get 5 square root 41 over 41. Hey! That's something else I would write down in your notes. That if you have the same square root times the same square root, it's just no more square root. So that's why square root of 41 times square root of 41 was just 41. Alright, cosine is a over h. So adjacent is 4a over hypotenuse, square root of 41a. A's cancel. We can't have that square root on the bottom. We get 4 square root 41 over the same house times the same house means we don't have a house anymore. So just 41. Okay, let's keep going. Tangent. TOA. Opposite over adjacent. Opposite is 5i. 5a. Adjacent is 4a. Cancel. And we get 5 over 4. Oh, that was the most attractive one. Huzzah. Okay. Now, let's do the reciprocals. And this is also something you should probably write down in your notes or on your cheat sheet. Okay? CSC is sine upside down. Secant is cosine upside down. Cotangent, nope, that was stupid. Yep, cotangent is tangent upside down. Oof, okay, and you definitely need to write this on your cheat sheet, because on this test we have the word reciprocal in other places, and it gets us kind of confused. Okay, so anyway, CSC is sine upside down. So let's go to our sine. Here's your sine, 5 square root 40. Oh my goodness, I don't want to flip that upside down. Look how dirty it is. It has two 41s, and it's got a square root in it. Ugh. So instead of flipping that, how about we flip the before, this guy? O over H, opposite over hypotenuse. Let's just make it H over O. Ho, ho, ho. All right, the hypotenuse is now square root 41a. All over the opposite is 5a. Okay? The a's cancel, and we get square root 41 over 5. Okay, square root 41 over 5. I think there's a cleaner copy of my work on Blackboard under the pink icon that looks like this, and it says test reviews. Yeah, okay. All right, secant is the upside down of cosine, but again, I don't want to flip the aftermath of cosine because it's so dirty. Look, it has a house and two 41s. Instead, let's flip the beginning of cosine. So instead of caca, we got H over A. Ha ha ha. And we have square root 41a on top, all over 4a on bottom. The a's cancel, and we get square root of 41 over 4. Yay! This really tests whether you understand the reciprocal and whether you recognize that the first version is easier to flip than the second. So try and flip the early on version, not the answer. Okay, for cotangent, we flip tangent, and I think that one's easy. Yeah, 5 over 4 just becomes 4 over 5. Hot dog. Okay. So for that number 1, if you wanted to write down, some steps to help you out, write down the steps to help you out. Like, I would probably write this down. Draw the right angles, then the 30s, then the 45s. If you do it a different way, write down how you do it. All right, let's keep going. Number 4, it says an observer on the top of the cliff. This is from our notes and from your homework. Okay, so I'm at the top of a cliff. There's the ground. And it says the cliff is 490 feet long. Okay. It says there's an observer. So there's someone at the top up here. And he's got eyeballs. And he's looking down to create an angle of depression. Depression means down. So this guy is looking down with his eyeballs. Yeah. And when he looks down, the angle of depression is the angle created from his horizontal eyesight looking down. So this angle up here is 5 degrees. I drew it really fat. Sorry. Okay. Then it says, what is the distance from the base of the cliff to the point on the ground? Okay. So the base of the cliff is along the bottom. So we should see a triangle here. It's kind of difficult, but there is a right triangle created by the cliff, the base, and his depressed line of sight. Yeah. And the cliff and the base make a 90-degree angle. Okay. We need an angle inside the triangle, and this 5 degrees is outside. So this is where we're going to use that thing called the Z property. Where if you draw letter Z, the inner angles or the alternate interior angles are equal. And if that Z is backwards, those interior angles are still equal. So that means that top angle of depression of 5 degrees is the same as the bottom right angle from the triangle. Okay, so now that we have that bottom right angle, let's label what they were asking for according to SOHCAHTOA, opposite, adjacent, hypotenuse, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so this cliff is opposite that 5 degrees. This base is adjacent. Okay, let's think about SOHCAHTOA. Notice I did not label the hypotenuse. You only label what they gave you and what you need to find. So if you want to write that down on your cheat sheet, that might help you. So when I labeled my triangle, they gave me the height of the cliff, so I labeled that as opposite. They told me to find the distance from the base of the cliff to the point on the ground, so I labeled that, and it was the adjacent. They did not give me the hypotenuse. They did not tell me to find the hypotenuse. So who cares about the hypotenuse? Not me. Okay, now let's do the math. We have to figure out whether this opposite and adjacent is for SO, Ka, or TOA. And it's TOA. So let's go. The math, the algebra, is tangent of the angle 5 degrees equals opposite, which is this 490, over adjacent, which is, we don't know. Okay? Then we have to get the letter A by itself. Well, it can't be in the bottom. It's supposed to be big fat A equals. So let's get it out of the bottom. The opposite of divide A is multiply A. And when you multiply it, it cancels on the right. And on the left, it gets squished up on that A. On that tan. So we have A tan 5 degrees equals 490. Then we divide by tan 5. And we make sure we are in degrees. So we got to press mode and change ourselves to degree. And how do I know I'm in degrees? Because duh, there's a degree right there. Degrees. Okay. So I'm typing in my calculator 490 over tan 5. And let's see what the word problem said. Something about blah, 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 round to the nearest foot. So this is 560, and then that 7 makes us round up to a 1. So we got 5601. And this measurement is in feet. Hey, exciting. Okay, another. Let's look at number 5. Uh-oh. It says if cosecant theta is 9 over 2, okay, find the exact value of cosine. What? Okay, so we have to know a lot of information here. First, we have to know that CSC is the upside down of sine. And we know that because we wrote it down on our cheat sheet for number 2. See, CSC is the same thing as sine upside down. Okay. We also need to know that sine is from SOHCAHTOA. So we need to flip upside down so. So 9 over 2 is not opposite over hypotenuse. 9 over 2 is now the hypotenuse over the opposite. And we know that because CSC is the reciprocal of sine, and the fraction for sine is made up of opposite over hypotenuse, but we have to reciprocal it. Okay, now it says find the exact value of cosine. Okay, well, first let's draw a triangle. And you can put theta anywhere you want. I usually put it on the bottom left. Now let's label. Opposite of this theta is the up and down, and it's 2. The hypotenuse is 9. And the question was asking for cosine. Well, cosine is ka from SOHCAHTOA. So I need to find my adjacent. So my first step was to figure out what that 9 over 2 was. And it's the hypotenuse and the opposite. My second step is to draw a picture. My third step is to Pythagorean theorem. In the Pythagorean theorem, C is always the hypotenuse. A, we can go ahead and say, is the adjacent. And the only other letter is B, so I'll call it opposite. Okay, so let's go. We don't know A, so A squared plus 2 squared equals 9 squared. And that makes A squared plus 4 equals 81. Subtract the 4, we get 77. Put a house on it to make the tiny 2 go away. We try and break 77 down into 2 numbers that multiply together that are the same. Or we try and look for a pair. So since there's no pair, we just leave it as square root 77. Okay, the fourth step is to do what the question was asking for. Find cosine theta. We said it's A over H. Okay, well my adjacent is what we just found. Square root of 77. My H is 9. Hey, done with that problem. Yes. Okay, let's keep going. Number 6. Uh-oh. This is the long one. Okay, I remember. Okay, first it says CD, as in the line segment from C to D is 12. So CD is 12. DE is 8. Okay, now they say something about tangent 4 over 3. And it says tangent of A, or alpha. So let's see here. 4 over 3. That's supposed to be tangent, so that's TOA. So that means 4 is your opposite, and 3 is your adjacent. But hold up. Let's look at this triangle, old son. According to this weird A looking thing, the opposite is the up and down piece. The adjacent is the 12. So that means that this 4/3 is a reduced fraction. It's the aftermath of being reduced. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that 4/3 is equal to, we had an adjacent of a 12. So we're going to find the opposite. And we're going to just think about patterns. How do we get from 3 to 12? We multiply by 4. Same thing here. To get from the opposite of what they gave us to the opposite of the picture, we're going to multiply by 4. And what do we get? We should get 4 times 4 is 16. Yeah. So this up and down piece is 16. Yeah. Okay. We still need to find every other piece. Darn. Okay. So I just found that AC, it's the distance between letter A and C, is 16. Okay, let's keep going. Let's maybe try and find the hypotenuse of that same triangle. Okay, well, since now we have 12 and 16, we can find the third side by doing the Pythagorean theorem. I think I'm doing this a little bit out of order from what I did it in class, but it's still okay. Okay, so A, I'll say is the adjacent squared, plus B, I'll say is the opposite squared, equals C, we don't know. We get 400 equals C squared. We put a house on that wicked witch, square root, and we get 20. Yeah. So 20 is that hypotenuse of this left triangle. So that left triangle, the hypotenuse is 20. Okay, and what is the label of that? It's from A to D, or you could have put in DA, I don't care, but AD is 20. All right, let's keep going. I think we're going to have to deal with that sine B equals 3 over 5 now. So this is my third step. They say 3 over 5 is sine, and sine from SOHCAHTOA is so. Okay, let's see if this matches. 3 over 5 is supposed to be opposite over hypotenuse. I think I missed a piece. Hold on 1 second.